we are here, another episode, and I think we both got wine today, yes?
Yeah, I am drinking Members Mark, which is the Sam's Club brand of Prosecco, uh, because I'm not a snob and it is $10, less than $10 a bottle.
Okay, I got a battle here. I got this Bogle Vineyards wine, 2019. I'm being fancy.
Okay. Yeah. Way more pretentious than me.
Super pretentious, let me tell you. It's the only bottle of wine I had left in my house, so let's see if I can get this thing open.
I'm really interested in watching you open this bottle of wine. As a former bartender, I am just totally judging your technique, and it's super fun.
I don't have the thing to open it properly, and I don't feel like getting
Yeah.
up to get the thing, so I know all I have to do is scrape and claw and scratch. There we go. Now it's coming off.
That's what she said.
Well, maybe Kitty liked to scratch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We don't kink shame here.
Kitty like a scratchy.
This is looking hard.
So I'm assuming that's a red. You didn't
Yes.
say what the varietal was.
Yeah, it's a Cab Sauvignon.
Nice.
I think that's
I
late
like a
for
drier
an
wine.
incoming spring, even though it's frickin' 0 degrees today, which is a crime.
Is it? It was 60 degrees here today.
Okay.
It's going to be 80 on Thursday.
Now I jab the thing.
All right, now I'm watching. Yep. I've never used one of those. So
they're pretty easy. You just jab it in and then...
Yeah.
Hello, cat. Kitty pop.
Did that wake the cat?
Oh, yeah. He was quite startled.
Yeah, the Prosecco, obviously the Prosecco bottle is pressurized, right? And so it always makes a good pop when you open it. And the dog definitely took notice.
Gotta blow the smoke out.
Yeah, I mean, it's the pressure from the bottle, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Do a little...
Oh, you have a nice glass.
A little pour. Glug, glug, glug.
Nice. Yeah. I can hear the glugging. Nope, I can hear it.
Kitty
Beautiful.
upset again. All right, I'll put that there. Give it a little swirl. Wine podcast. Sure. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Still remember when we got just hammered off Prosecco at one episode. That was like one of the first ones.
Yeah. That was early. That was like the second episode. And then there was the one that we recorded after the first All In. We had been drinking mimosas with brunch after the first All In. We were pretty drunk. We recorded it like in real time, right after the pay-per-view. We were pretty hammered. I hope the Wrestling Wine Down ladies don't get mad for us stealing their gimmick here.
I mean, getting drunk on Red Leaf Retrocast is a time-honored tradition.
That is true. I'm just saying, as far as like both of us drinking wine.
Well, hey, you said wine, and I'm like, I want wine.
I know. I know. Wine is great.
I was gonna drink just water today, and then you just happened to say wine, and I went, oh, Ricky, good idea.
Yeah.
I will join you with that.
Yeah, I thought so. Great.
I'm not going anywhere after this. Wine good.
Glad I could be an enabler today.
So it'll get me prepared for my German teaching that I do every Monday and Tuesday, just about these days.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, got the shoot job and then the side hustle.
I'm changing jobs yet again.
Yeah. God, I just hit my 6 years at my position, or job. I've had many positions now there.
Yeah.
So tell me about the new thing. What's the new gig you're doing?
So
extortion?
So it's actually not new. I am returning to my very first office that I worked at when I finished my degree. One of my old managers texted me and said, "Do you want to come back?" And after I laughed in her face for about an hour, I was like, you know what? I don't like to close any doors. So I did end up applying and interviewing, and and it ended up being the right move for me. So I'm returning to that office.
More money?
In a leadership position with way more money than they were paying me when I left. More money than I'm earning now.
There you go. Moving up in the world.
So, yeah. So I start a week from Monday.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Well, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Red Leaf Retrocast. So today, besides drinking wine and talking about our careers, we have New Japan Cup talk. Not very much. More or less a couple opinions to get across over New Japan. Okay. And then AEW Revolution and the fallout. Which really is just kind of one match and two people in particular I want to hit on. And then WCW, the Great American Bash 2000. And you mentioned, like, on Cage Match, we're on the second page, so we're less than a year from this company closing down.
Yeah. Someone on the interwebs said...
On Blue Sky?
How many Nitro... Yeah. Which you are now active on Blue Sky. Thank you for
I have Blue Sky
coming
now.
over to the blue side.
Way better, by the way.
Oh, it's so much better. It
still has a lot of growth.
Oh, yeah. It is very... I mean, even though it's been around for a couple of years now, it's still very much in, like, kind of beta mode.
It reminds me of Twitter in, like, 2012, 2013. Yeah.
I joined Twitter in 2009, but I didn't really use it until I started watching wrestling.
Let's see.
So I don't really know what Twitter was like in the good days because I didn't really use it.
So when I was bowling in college on the tour is when I had to get it.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I was November 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what made me get it in 2009. Probably like just to like enter a contest or something, you know, like follow us on Twitter and retweet this.
I mean, it was certainly just go and follow Celebrities, the app, for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was it. So could be something like that for me. I don't remember. Anyway, I've had it for a long time. But I left unceremoniously pretty recently. Well, actually in like November. Anyway, somebody on Blue Sky, back to why we started talking about this. Somebody on Blue Sky posted how many Nitro episodes there were. I did not fact check this, so
it's correct.
I'm not sure. But so this is from at AEW Fan Hub on Blue Sky. The last episode of WC Nitro aired on March 26, 2001. That was episode number 286 of Nitro. This week's Dynamite, coming up on March 26th, will be episode 286 of Dynamite. So we are matching them this week and passing them next Wednesday.
Excellent. I want so many Eric Bischoff and Shane McMahon. I want all the jokes and digs. I want Jeff Jarrett to come out and they fake fire him. just like what Vince McMahon did.
Oh my God, yeah. So especially with Bischoff coming out late, like he came out after Revolution and was like, it was the worst thing ever. Tony Mariah is bad for business. Like,
oh, he's the worst. He's a
what
fraud.
A grifter.
Grifting. Bully Ray's just as bad now. Plus, he's paid by WWE.
Bully Ray
his
these
opinion,
days, yeah.
like those two guys in particular, are the dirt worst currently going. But here's the thing. I put out a Blue Sky, the Skeet, if you will.
Yes.
And I stated, let's not forget that the majority of Nitro is the drizzling shits. Like, the dirt worst. The worst television you can imagine. Like, don't let... Even, like, early 95 and 90 halfway through 96 were, like, pretty boring. And WCW television was generally pretty boring TV.
Yeah.
Didn't have much going for it. The only time period where it was a fun show, and I can't say the majority of it was still any good. And bear in mind, I grew up with this. This is my quote-unquote nostalgia, my childhood, okay? And now I'm rewatching it all as an adult, recording it through this. Nitro sucked. Like, it was bad. And it's, like, we're reviewing all this build to these pay-per-views, especially, like, I've been doing it since 98 to rekindle past trauma, I suppose. And bear in mind, this is like a 3-year span that I'm doing. 98, 99, 2000, okay? And then whatever 2001 is going to be. I wasn't watching the majority through any of this because I quit as a child. That's how bad the show was. And bear in mind, glad I did because it only got worse. And yes, I did clock in for an episode here or there because TV, Atlanta Braves, whatever. Growing up in the South, WCW was always on TV. I like WCW Saturday Night because it was free of all the bullshit that surrounded WCW. It was like its own little universe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I stated, let's not forget Nitro was the Drizzly and Shits the majority of the time. Outside of this small time period with the NWO, with its formation of the Hogan turn, till the Sting match debacle. That was good TV. Okay?
Yeah.
What is that, a year and a half? 2 years tops, if you want to be generous? AEW, since its start till about now, I would say that the show at its worst is boring with a few bad segments here and there. That's at worst. Like, Dynamite clears Nitro, and it's not like I don't even have to think about it. And then if you just consider Nitro's last, like, 2.5 years, it's not a contest. The real reason why it was canceled wasn't because of, AT&T and all these telemarketing companies and and Ted Turner leaving. It's because it was a bad show and it was losing money and it was terrible. That's it.
It's fucking terrible. Of course.
I mean, we're gonna get to the Great American Bash later, and what a god awful pay-per-view. First of all, boring and bad. Like, at its best, it was boring. So that's what we're dealing with. Do I like a lot of the main events that AEW puts out in the last couple years with the MJF Adam Cole thing, and then this... I don't hate this current Moxley run, but it's certainly far from their best. Was there drama with CM Punk and all that? Yeah, you're going to have disgruntled employees in any job that you work in. I mean, I follow the NBA, and there's players all over the place ruining Luka Doncic with his thing, Jimmy Butler in Miami. I mean, just think of AEW as like a singular team entity. And you got that going on. So, long story short.
Okay.
Rant over. AEW better than Nitro, and it's not close.
I mean, that's not even close. Okay, so I guess we'll start with Revolution. And before we dive in to
I do want to say before we go into any of this, I haven't done a Joshi episode in a long time.
Okay.
But right now with Stardom and this Saya Kamitani Tam Nakano run, leading into Tam Nakano's proteges, so to say, like in kayfabe, or in real life, who knows? Knowing that woman or what we know about her, she lost. First of all, Tam Nakano has 2 5-star matches in this year alone. Throwing that out there. My opinion on Tam Nakano is incredibly high, and what she's doing and really leading into her assumed retirement at this point. She's putting her career on the line next month against Saya Kamitani. She's done everything she can to put this woman over the last 3 years. And her proteges are winning and moving up the ladder. It's the kind of wrestling I like, and I'm going to be devastated when she retires next month. And also knowing this woman, I could be absolutely being worked a lot, and I'm falling for it.
Sure.
And that's
Yeah.
wrestling.
And you're
That's
cool with
awesome.
that. I love being worked. Yeah. So that does lead me to Revolution. Um, we can get to the discourse around the main event. It's been all over the internet. People arguing about what should have main evented in match order or whatever. But the first question
I
I
think
want
that's
to
the
ask
wrong
you
discourse.
before, hang on.
Okay.
Exactly.
I'm going to pour some wine.
It's the wrong discourse. And also, who cares? The most important opinion that I've been waiting to hear from you is, was that or was that not the greatest women's match ever to take place in the United States? Because according to Dave Meltzer, it was. It was his first 5-star match for a US for a women's match on US soil, not featuring US talent. Obviously, in this case, neither one of them is from the US.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there have been, actually, I don't know, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure there were Western women who got a 5-star match, maybe in Japan, but this is the first one for sure on US soil. So, was that the best women's match to ever take place in the United States?
I think a lot of people would agree with that. I off the top of my head, and I can immediately hear the conversations of, well, Bailey Sasha from, what was that, 2014?
Mm-hmm.
As important as that match was, I don't think that match was better than what we saw at Revolution. The match at Revolution was certainly unique, memorable, and I was actually thinking about this. It's gonna remind. I think it's gonna. It had a much better story than the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker.
Yes.
What was that, the Lights Out match? It was certainly a hardcore match.
Sure. It was a hardcore match of some sort. Yeah, whatever they called it.
And it really reminded me a lot of that match, with a much longer story and entity to it.
Of course.
I think upon a rewatch, maybe a year or so from now, the match isn't going to hold up to that quote unquote 5 stars. Much like how the Britt Baker Thunder Rosa match doesn't hold up to the 4.5, 4 3/4 that it got. I think it was carried by the moment. It was carried by the audience. Was it really good? Yes. Do I think it's the best Western women's match of all time? No, I don't think so.
Sure.
I think from a pure in-ring standpoint, and what was more impressive and what was more, I think, dramatic from a technical standpoint, I guess, is a crude way to put it. I think the Chris Statlander Mercedes matches both are better than that one.
Sure. Yeah, and you can argue the Sasha Bailey match. You could argue the Asuka versus, what was her name in WWE, Athena. That last women's standing match was really great. And I'm sure AEW has had a few standout women's matches. I think part of the 5-star rating is because I don't think it would be overstating to say it was the culmination of one of the greatest wrestling feuds of all time, not just women's feuds. Um, Definitely one of the greatest women's feuds, but I think you could throw it into the bigger sphere. And then also, is it kind of like a make good from Dave? Like where Scorsese finally won an Oscar for The Departed, even though it probably isn't his best film. You know, um,
I think
kind of in that
there's certainly some
vein.
guilt and bullying behind what Meltzer has done in 2025 for sure.
Yeah,
Where he goes, besides the Utami Shuri match, which was excellent, that
sure.
got 5 stars. That was the first 5-star women's match in 2 decades, right?
Ages. Yeah.
And then just looking back on January with the Stardom show, where the trios title match got 5, and I'm like, okay, that match was great, but a lot of people in my circle were like, I don't know, the main event. Everyone thought the main event was better.
Yeah. Agree. Yeah.
With Suzu Suzuki and Saya Kamatani.
Yeah.
So where Meltzer is right now with how he rates women, I mean, I was kind of on the line of he should never give a women's match a 5 stars again, just to keep the joke going.
Yeah, agree.
Always 4
Yeah,
3/4
yeah.
done.
It's just a bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But now that he's kind of come around on that, it's going to be interesting what he starts to give these scores going forward. From my perspective as a women's wrestling fan, I love rating things and I love rankings and just gauging people's opinions on that kind of scale. I like following
Yep.
the Voices of Wrestling Match of the Year thing and what matches, other than myself, people kind of look to.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we'll find out probably at the end of the year. I think the Voices of Wrestling Match of the Year poll, when it comes to 2020, what happened in 2025, I think that match is going to score really high.
Sure.
I'm curious if it's going to make a top 10. We're still very early in the year.
Yeah. And we've already had some really, really great matches.
Yeah, we've had the Saya Kamatani, Tam Nakano loser leaves Stardom match, which also got 5 stars. That was one where I don't think it was 5-star worthy as well, but I could see why people think it was. It was like I woke up, well, I was already at work, but I woke up and extra early to go to work and then take an extended break just to watch that match. So the need to watch something was there, and that does factor into your engagement in wrestling. And to expand on the just Tony Storm Mariah May point, Revolution in general was appointment pay-per-view / television. You had to watch it. There was just so much intrigue behind the card and what was going to happen. It's just unfortunate that a lot of the discourse focus is, I think, on the wrong things. I like where you're coming from, where is this match as good as ranked or people rate it as? Which match is better than which? I much prefer that because, of course, a world title is going to main event a pay-per-view. Doesn't matter which one. It doesn't matter to me. But even as a fan, I was like, no, it's got to be Moxley against Edge. It has to be them to main event. They're the main attraction of the company.
So the women's world title is a world title, and it can and should main event a pay-per-view soon. However, on this pay-per-view, it was in the right place. We knew there was going to be shenanigans at the end of the Moxley match, or assumed there weren't quite the level of shenanigans at the pay-per-view. They did the shenanigans later at the rematch, but there were some shenanigans. And also, as from just a business standpoint, at the end of the pay-per-view, you want people to tune into TV that week, right? And so you need to leave it on I can't imagine what's going to happen. If you end a pay-per-view with a title card that says the end, well, then it's the end, and I don't need to tune into TV on Wednesday.
I do see where you're coming from. The thing about AEW is I kind of see it in quarters where I think they need to constrain some stories to a little shorter time periods.
Sure.
I see Revolution. I see, let's see, Wembley / it's going to be Y'all Out is what they're calling it.
Y'all in.
Or Y'all in. Y'all in. And congruently All Out. I see that as kind of the second part to the year, and then World's End.
Yeah.
I think World's End has surpassed Full Gear in that sense. World's End feels like the end of the year celebration, which I think is pretty cool. Then you have your kind of middle ones that I think what you said with cliffhangers and whatnot, with Full Gear, Wrestle Dynasty, these are the things that should end with cliffhangers to really keep you roped in. I think you need to have stop gaps where a story ends and you can begin anew. It's too often where we watch, we're on the comparison of WCW. That seems to be a thing today. Too often in WCW, everything had to have a cliffhanger. Everything had to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
In modern WWE, with the Triple H booking, nothing ever concludes, it seems. And there's so much diminishing returns to that. You need a storied conclusion. You have to do this.
Sure.
Otherwise, people lose interest. You need to create new things. You need to create new stars. You need to create new intrigue in what you're doing. You can't just keep things going in a line and rope.
Yeah. That's fair too. Yeah, and I don't want like the business to quote unquote to like rule storylines, matchmaking, or card order, but it kind of has to in some ways.
No, you got to keep the lights on somehow. Now, that's not to say. So, my other opinion on that is that's what the lower and mid card matches are for. Cool shit that you can do.
Right.
Like Mercedes versus Momo Watanabe is cool shit.
It was cool shit. Sure was.
You don't need to develop a whole lot of TV time to it. Not a lot of TV real estate that dedicate to Momo Watanabe and Mercedes, right? Just Momo shows up, she won this match. Mercedes is like, shit, she kicks really hard. I don't want any part of this. They have their match. Momo kicks really hard. The crowd turned in her favor. It was a cool as shit match, and it was awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
You even had Hangman Page and MJF at the beginning, which I love that feud.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And that had a purpose to the future of, like, that's the story that's continuing. But it's also cool as shit match that they developed a lot of TV time to.
Mm-hmm.
Did we need Outrunners versus Hurt Syndicate? No. Not sure why that was there.
But you have to pee at some point. I actually had to get up during a fucking Kazuchika Okada match because I was so invested in the other matches. And I think I might have even skeeted from like as I got back to the couch, I was like, I just peed during a fucking Okada match. That's how stacked this card is. Like,
well, what they do
if you told me in 2017 that I was going to watch an Okada match, or that there was going to still be watching wrestling in 2025, and Okada was going to be on a US pay-per-view, and I was going to go to the bathroom during his match.
You got to go at some point, right? I usually pick to go at the exact conclusion of a match, so then I'm skipping also the entrances and everything. That's what I generally do. But in Europe, they do something really cool. And it's not just for wrestling. They do it for a lot of other events, like a play. You have your act
like
1, 2, 3. You have your, so like for example with Progress and WXW when they were still okay to watch, they would have essentially 2 cards in halves. So the middle would have a huge match, and that would serve as your intermission point. You would felt like you had 2 main events, one in the middle and one at the end. And you also felt like you had 2 hot beginning matches. So it felt like 2 shows. That's really cool, because you get your 15-20-minute intermission to go to the concessions, go take a break of some kind, go get what you need, and you're re-energized. I think that's a brilliant idea, and I really wish if they were capable of doing that, AEW could do something very similar. Is there something that's stopping them from saying, hey, for this 15 minutes, we're going to have someone come out there for a promo and they're advertising something on Dynamite coming. They could shoot like a little angle there that you don't really need to see. All you need to do is hear about it. And you're like, oh, okay, that's what happened.
Yeah, I don't know, because I've been to tons of local and I've been to indie shows all over the country, actually. Most indie shows do have an intermission. That's when you buy your merch and socialize and get more drinks and whatever. I'm guessing there's business reasons why they don't have an intermission on pay-per-views.
This wine is really light.
That's interesting for a cab. Cabs are usually heavier.
Yeah, I think it's because it's aged 6 years in my cold basement.
Yeah, could be. But so, I mean, it could just be as simple as, well, people spent $50 for this. People watching at home spent $50. They don't want to have 15 minutes of dead air. Like, what would the internet reaction be
I don't know.
if there
You
was
say
15
that,
minutes of nothing?
You say that, well, WWE constantly has that every time. Like, between every single match. And it drives me insane, which drives me not to even watch them. Even matches I'm interested in, and I'm like, well, I know I can wait 15 minutes before or 20 minutes. If Roman Reigns is going out there, I'm not going to watch it, but that would be 30 minutes.
Oh. Yeah. The funniest is when WWE does they let one person enter, they do their whole entrance, and then they stand in the ring for like 10 minutes while they show ads and video packages and whatever. And then the other person makes their entrance. It's wild.
See, that's crazy to me because as an athlete, your muscles and your body start to like cramp up and get cold. Especially when you try to get warm before doing something like that. I mean, imagine if you do that to a basketball player, right?
Right?
Shit, in bowling, I was just in a tournament and they go, oh, there's going to be 45 minutes between your next game. And I'm like, oh my God, crap. I got to like keep warm. I got to go over here. I got to keep my hand in this position. Like, God, it's so, I'd rather just keep going.
Yeah. I mean, even football players, right?
Icing the kicker's a thing.
Well, icing the kicker's a thing, but like so many guys, you'll see them on the exercise bike on the sideline, you know? Because obviously offense and defense sometimes takes a while. Like they're not all on the field at the same time. And if the other team's possession is taking a while, you need to stay warm. So.
All right, so let's see. We mentioned Paige MJF. What do you think of Paige winning? You think that was the right decision right now?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think so. I'm getting a little. AEW used to be the show don't tell promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And they are still in a lot of ways. But I do think as they've gained more fans and more fans that haven't been watching wrestling a long time, I feel like they've maybe dumbed things down a little bit. For example, there's a point in the match where MJF out loud vocally says the words, "Why is it you and not me? Why am I not enough?" You and I and the more experienced seasoned viewers know that that's what this is about. We know it's about him resenting Hangman, and we know it's about his insecurities. I didn't need him to say it out loud. So that's like my only and it's not really a criticism. I get it. And it made me feel emotional at the time. I'm like, yes, of course, that's how you're feeling. Like it validated what I thought it was about. So maybe I don't know. What do you think about that?
So this is an ongoing thing in wrestling right now, and WWE really started that during the pandemic with the in-match promos and dialogues.
Yeah.
And it's really stuck the last 5 years, and it drives me crazy. Like you said, it's show don't tell. I mean, we had promos and TV time dedicated to building up to this. I don't need it in my match as well. Can I deal with some? Can I use some shit talking and maybe under his breath you kind of hear it? Yes, you can do that, right. But you don't dedicate like literal spots in the match to. I'm sorry, I don't want to do this or that nonsense that like Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair did at WrestleMania.
Sure,
like that's what kicks. That's where the what's the term? Empathy? No. What's the like the Greek term of origin? Anyways, it's the origin of it all. Is that's where it started.
Yeah.
And the
impetus.
Impetus, thank you. That's the word. See, Ricky, that's why you're getting the big new job. Right there. Stuff like that.
Yep. Keep in mind that I'm an accountant.
And
My job doesn't really
Look,
depend
I'm
on
the
my
engineer that
vocabulary.
also speaks languages, but well, whatever. I'm the one
Yeah,
who
but
should know
you
that.
speak multiple languages. So here's something that I learned, and I think my mom sent this to me because she's getting older and she sometimes like loses her train of
Uh-huh.
thought or whatever. It was just a meme that said it's something about like when you can't think of the right word, just say, I don't know the English word for this because it makes it sound like you know more languages. And it's not that you just can't think of what
I
the
mean,
word
I
is.
have been there quite a bit. Well, there's a lot of words in different languages where it like literally doesn't exist in another one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, my favorite part of the Japanese language is that when a word doesn't exist, they just take the other language's word. Like half the time when you're watching a promo in Japanese, they throw in like 10 English words because the word just didn't exist in Japanese. And they're like, yeah, the English word is good enough. We'll just use that one.
Yeah. Well, so I've been learning Korean in 2025, and the more words I learn, it's like, oh, if I read it and sound it out, message in Korean is literally like it's ma sasaj or something. You're like, oh, okay, I got that.
There you go. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's good stuff. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so Mercedes Momo, cool match. Swerve Ricochet, love this high octane match.
Oh my
Swerve
God.
wins. I think that was the right decision. Ricochet moves on to the whatever this international tournament thing is that they're doing
Yeah.
every 4 weeks now. Uh,
Yeah.
Not too crazy about the upcoming 3-way. I think there was.
Why not?
I'm just over these 3 and 4 ways. I really like what we
Why?
got here, where everything was one-on-one. You can do your 3 and 4 ways
Yeah.
on television.
Okay, Grandpa.
What? Do you think
I'm not going to complain
Mike
about
Bailey or
seeing
Ricochet
three.
should beat Kenny Omega?
No, but I'm not going to complain about seeing three of the best wrestlers in the world all in the same match. I'm especially not complaining about seeing Mike Bailey in a match against Kenny Omega on a pay-per-view.
Fair enough. Let's see.
I
Okada
know
Brody King.
he's not your favorite, but I love him.
I liked what Mike Bailey has done on AEW so far. I think him being constrained is good for him because it's too often the indies book him. Even TNA was guilty of this when I did see him in matches. They book him in the same like 20-minute block for each and every opponent, and Mike Bailey seems to have the same match each and every time. And
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm really tired of that. So now when I'm seeing against him like Beast Mortos, and it's 9 minutes,
Yeah.
he has to really dial things down, constrain himself to certain spots and sequences,
Sure.
along with a variety of different opponents he's never faced before that are in AEW. And that's what's made him so interesting on AEW compared to the last 5 years, 5, 6, 7 years I've been watching him. Now, I will say, I still think his best match I've seen to date is the 16 karat gold match in WXW, Mike Bailey against Bandito. That fucking rocked. Go watch that.
Ooh. Did you see that one in person?
No. I wasn't in Germany at that time.
Okay. I will watch that one. I am finally catching up on the new Maple Leaf Pro, but I didn't watch the ones from the fall. So I just watched Mike Bailey versus Takeshita, which was the main event of night 1 of the fall shows. And that was very, very good.
Let's see. Do we have any more to say over Tony Storm Mariah May? I think we kind of hit the discussion point of it all.
Yeah, I mean, it was phenomenal. Yeah.
Oh, here we
Loved it.
go. The follow-up is interesting. I'm a little worried for Mariah May. I think
Yes.
I think a few months off would be good for her. I don't even want to see her in the Owen this year, even though she's
Okay.
the defending champion. I want to see her go away and then come back with a complete repackage in Persona to totally get her away from the Toni Storm thing. Now, I would still like her to acknowledge the Toni Storm thing, but have a new thing for her, much like Toni Storm is set up seemingly with Megan Bayne. I like this. I think those are
I'm excited.
Those are the right kind of directions to go.
I am excited for the Megan Bayne. Did you watch the 2 women's matches? Did you watch Mercedes versus
Billy Starks? Yep.
Billy Starks.
I did end up watching those.
And Megan Bayne versus Statlander, right?
Yep.
What a fucking great couple of TV matches, man.
AEW's motivated right now, and you can see it in the wrestlers and how they're performing on television.
Yeah, we can dive into those later. I didn't mean to derail the conversation. But do you think so? I don't really know where Toni goes, where Toni's character, where the timeless Toni character goes now that the Mariah feud is over. So do you think Megan Bayne could subvert expectations and take the title from Toni at Dynasty?
That's interesting. If they want to make a splash and do something super unique, I think Toni Storm losing the title wouldn't be the worst idea. They could certainly tell a story of Toni Storm's beaten, battered, bruised, and Megan Bayne has got her at the right time. I don't think that's the direction they go. AEW pretty much sticks to their guns, and wrestling stories aren't as complicated or unique as we all think they could be. It's much more simplistic. Now, would it be the end of the world if Toni just beats Megan Bayne and Megan and Penelope Ford go off and do their thing again, and maybe Camille comes back and Toni Storm's the giant killer? That's really the direction I think that they're going to go.
Okay.
Which is fine as well. I just think they could do something more interesting.
So have Toni beat Megan, have Toni beat Camille, and then maybe lose to Chris Statlander, who hasn't challenged for the world title in a while.
Yeah, all giants of the division, powerhouses.
Throw Nyla in there.
Nyla would be considered a giant to kill. Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's...
Yeah.
I brought it up for a reason. I think that's the direction they're going to go in. Megan Bayne is V1.
Okay, but so what happens, though, if Megan loses at the pay-per-view? She's brand new to the promotion. What momentum...
I mean, if they had better ideas and more ideas for her, she would have been in the company ages ago.
True.
Unless there's like some weird injury that we're not privy to, which is possible, but...
Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, whatever. I'm glad she's here now. She looks like $1 million. She looks like a star. I'm happy she's here. And I'm happy she's working with Penelope. I love that.
Yeah, the Beyond Wrestling connections are heavy in AEW for the women's division.
It's not just the Beyond connection. It's the Joey Janela connection.
Oh God, you're right. Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love that. I just love that it's a like non-thing, and they're willing to work together and make each other look awesome in the process. I love it.
International title match: Omega defeats Takeshita. I think we all kind of saw that coming. 28 minutes and 30 seconds. That was wild how they went out there for almost 30. Best pure wrestling match on the show. I'd put Mercedes Momo behind that, but by a wide margin. This was just a level.
Sure.
This was just a way higher level of play. Exactly what I wanted. This was better than their match at Wembley that they had a couple years ago. This was the match. Is this my match of the year right now? Ooh.
Well, what about Kenny versus Gabe Kidd?
I think I like this more.
Okay.
I think I like this more. But the point is, like, Kenny Omega is better. 2 for 2.
Yep.
Dude's a beast. Ospreay Fletcher in the steel cage. Ospreay wins. Where are we going with Ospreay after this now?
He's in the
Owen.
in the Owen, yeah, I was trying to think of what the word was that he declared, I guess, for the Owen.
So he's got to win that, right?
I would think so. I would think so.
So here's where I'm going
And
with
then we'll
this.
see who has the title at that point.
Yeah, here's where I'm going with this.
Swerve, probably.
I hope not, and here's why.
Okay, I'm excited.
Moxley and Edge laid an egg, and it took a spike bat in the back to bring it to interest. Okay.
Disagree, but we can return to that.
We'll tread that water. We'll tread back again.
Yeah.
Swerve, I think, needs to be screwed by Hangman again. And MJF is involved somehow as well. And those three got to work something out. I think you can keep them away from the title for a long time. There's still Jay White looming. There's still Christian and Edge doing their thing. So I think those three need to be locked up for a while. So where I'm going is Moxley beats Swerve. Everyone is occupied. And here comes Ospreay with the Owen. Ospreay goes into y'all in. And he's finally the face of the company. I think they probably missed the boat on him not crowning him last year, but that was Swerve's time. Not the worst idea to go with Swerve. He worked out tremendously, I believe. But there is some sacrifice to be made. And unfortunately, Ospreay was the sacrifice last year. I think you got to pull the trigger on him this year and see what you got. And if he doesn't turn out to be as hot as you hope he is at the top, then you can move it to any of this plethora of guys that's after him, and we can build something up again. A lot of guys are kind of on equal footing right now, and I think Ospreay's the guy to pull the trigger. I think Moxley's done his time, and I think he's the guy. I think Ospreay's the guy to lose it to.
Yeah, I don't hate that, actually. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for bringing up Jay White. And we can bring this back into the Moxley Cope match. I don't know why that wasn't Jay White in that match. Why it was Cope and not Jay White.
They wanted to do the Christian thing, and it sucked.
Okay, let's just dig in.
We got to.
I don't. Okay, it did not suck. It was a very good match. We were spoiled, and we talk about this with like, it didn't need to be on pay-per-view. It could have been a TV match. It speaks to the quality of TV matches, not the poor quality of the match on a pay-per-view. This one, A, needed to be on the pay-per-view because it was a world title match.
Yeah.
And B, only felt like a drag because the whole show was so hot.
I
think
disagree.
It was a fine match. I think it was fine. I think it was more than fine. I think it was good. And it did, the end of it did more for the world title picture than, I mean, it forwarded things, it ended things, it forwarded things, it brought us things. I was fine with it.
I'll start with what they did right. Okay. I think Moxley bully choking Christian out of that dumb contract was the right move. I think I was dreading if they did a world title change with these dumb contracts, I would have lost my mind hard. So with Christian just getting choked out as soon as he came in, that was good. That was like a breath of fresh air.
Agree, and I really hope they never do the contract ever again because it's stupid.
Exactly. So I think they got out of it the right way. Not that it should have been there in the first place. Now, Edge, they made up for it on TV. I'm very happy they did that. I have a conspiracy that Moxley and Edge went to Tony Khan afterwards and went, look, we messed up. We want another chance. And we got to finish our story. So here's where I disagree that it was a problem because of the 3 matches prior. These are your quote-unquote star players of the promotion main eventing your pay-per-view. They are your point guard and power forward of the promotion, okay? They're your number 10, number 11, or number 9 on the field. They're there to get the job done in the main event, and you got to live up to that expectation. Because what happens at the end of a show? A lot of people talk about the main event and you coming away from the show end. If you stink it up, that's on you. It's not, look, the Hurt Syndicate and this match sandwiched 3 5-star matches in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Toni Storm, Mariah May went in there and did the job, what needed to be done to get over and get the crowd excited, okay? Kenny Omega, Takeshita had to follow that. They could have laid an egg. They didn't. Instead, they brought it back. The crowd was excited. Blah, blah, blah. Ospreay Fletcher, cage match. Another mid-match promo in that one, but we already had that talk.
That's a little different, though.
A little different. They got the crowd in it. So what is the problem with Moxley and Cope? They went out there and did some headlocks. They went out there and had something that really looked like it belonged on a Judgment Day pay-per-view in 2003. It just wasn't exciting.
Yeah. I mean, was this match also harmed by the fact that no one really wanted to see it in the first place?
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I think half the people are still on the wagon of this match wasn't interesting in the first place. Mm-hmm. I think the other half, like me, was I think they brought with the angles and the promos on television, especially the last few weeks leading up to this. I think that brought me in and a lot of people in, mm-hmm. and they saved it.
Same. That's what it did for me. Yes.
Now, what if they had that match on TV here on the pay-per-view?
Wait. Oh, yeah. So I have read at least one account of what happened backstage, not one social media account. Mm-hmm. That what happened on the rematch on Dynamite was a possibility to have happened on the pay-per-view or something similar with more shenanigans, more run-ins, maybe a debut. And for whatever reason, TK decided to end it the way they did.
Yeah, it's very strange. I think it was a miss more than anything.
Yeah.
Your 2 main eventers went out there and, stunk up 0 goals, 0 assists, 3 shots on goal, -3. That's what they did. Not unlike the Avalanche, who are on a big winning streak the last 13 games. Bah! Bah! Look, I feel sorry for your Devils and Jack Hughes. It's very bad.
Yeah. Well, not just Jack Hughes. I mean,
there's like 4 other guys that went down.
That's what I was going to say. That's a big loss, but like Jesper Bratt has really stepped up his game. Luke Hughes has too. But the bigger problem is Siegenthaler and Hamilton being out. The 3 of them combined is just too big.
It's brutal. And with honestly, with that combined with the moves that Tampa Bay, Florida, in the East, Washington being as good as they are, this wasn't the Devils' year. Yep. It wasn't going to be.
No.
Even with a healthy lineup. There's just too much other just moving pieces across the league, in the East in particular, because that's what pertains to them. I don't think they could have compete this year. They would have been a 6, 7, 8 seed, lost in the first round anyways.
Yeah.
And they'll be back stronger next year.
Yep. I agree.
But we got the Avalanche.
Wholeheartedly.
And it's going to be Dallas, Colorado. Mikko Rantanen coming back home, getting booed.
Yeah.
Taking the big L in the Mile High City.
Yep. Ain't that the truth?
Aw. Are you like avsed out? Is that what I'm gathering here?
I'm just frustrated. No, I'm not abs now. I'm still like, I'm just really mad about the Devils. So it's gonna take me until I like can fully admit that the Devils don't have a chance. I can't get behind this.
All right, I understand. I kind of feel that way with baseball every year. Which,
Yeah.
by the way,
the Abs are not my team.
Did you see the Rockies traded?
I did.
Oh God,
Jones.
they traded Jones for a
Jones.
utility player who's older
Yep.
to Cleveland.
Yep.
I sent you that message. I didn't get anything back, but I sent you that message. I'm like, this is an unserious. This is an unserious team.
I don't remember seeing that from you. I don't think you sent it to me, or if I didn't get it.
Yeah,
so
it was
that's
via
why I didn't
Instagram,
respond.
I believe. But whatever, it's all right.
Oh, because I'm not on Instagram anymore. That's why.
Oh, because I send you things every now and again. But you know what? I'll start.
I uninstalled the app.
I'll start send it to you on Blue Sky. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, you'll have to.
Okay.
Or just text me.
Or that. Yeah, have phones.
You can text me links to Instagram things and then I can go in, but I'm not on Instagram.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, the Rockies, I am so convinced that they're going to be the worst team in baseball next season. This coming season.
And they're always the worst team in baseball. Like,
no,
that's
they're
not
close to it. They're never the actual worst. They're always like second worst.
They're fucking terrible.
Brutal. He was like their best player 2 years ago. It was wild.
I know. I lost track of our wrestling conversation.
We were just kind of talking about the main event and going into it, but
oh yeah. Okay.
Look, Moxley won. I think that was the right decision. I'm not crazy about the Death Riders thing. I think it's just generic. They could have done so much more with it. It had so much promise when it started, and to kind of see where it's ended up, I'm very disappointed by it all. And I just needed to end, and I need to end at least in some interesting way. It's kind of it's not like this isn't a direct comparison, but I'm talking about kind of the feeling behind it is Samoa Joe's title run. It was simple and it was really fun. However, the match he lost it in wasn't all that great with Swerve. So the follow-up with Swerve took a lot of work and it got him going. I'm getting a similar vibe here with Moxley and his reign, except I just don't like it. And I'm really afraid that his last match isn't going to be very interesting. The title will change, and then let's say it goes to Ospreay with the scenario I laid out earlier. It's going to take a little bit of work again to get the champion over, and it's just not going to be that draw and interest that it needs to be. And that's unfortunate.
The title itself?
Like the title and the title holder. Because that's what happened with Swerve. The match just didn't get over very well. And it took months for Swerve to finally get himself to that level along with the booking. It was just a cold start. I don't want a cold start.
Well, Swerve's title win also, funnily enough, was hindered by the fact that it was on a show with two of the greatest matches of all time. So, I mean, like,
is that true?
or at least one. The Daniels and Ospreay match was on that show. And well, I loved Pac Okada, of course.
Let's see here. Dynasty 24. Let's see here. Young Bucks FTR was before that. Yeah, Ospreay Danielson. That was good. Tony Storm Thunder Rosa. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem with the Swerve win was A, everyone predicted it, and B, everything else on that card was so good that it felt a little whatever.
Ospreay Danielson's kind of the only match I really remember. Okada Pac. Yeah.
Go back. I was just gonna say, go back and watch Pac Okada. You
do remember that one?
I was gonna call you a terrible name. Of course, I remember that one. That's why I went to the show. I didn't even care about Osprey Danielson. Still don't care about Osprey Danielson. I saw my dream match.
Let's see. I think we kind of covered AEW sufficiently enough. You?
Um, yeah, other than like where we think things are going, but we touched on some of that already too, I think. So,
I think we
yeah.
got it. All right. New Japan Cup. Here's my quick thoughts, because you didn't watch any of it, correct?
Nope, I asked you if I should, and you said don't bother.
Don't bother. Now, historically, the first couple rounds are usually no good anyways.
Okay.
There's just so... The storylines underneath Hiroki Goto's title win, I think, are all horrid. All of them. It's War Dogs, Bullet Club, House of Torture, everywhere. And it's really hindering my interest in anything else that New Japan's doing. And it was prevalent throughout the New Japan Cup, to the point where I was actively skipping matches involving those three teams, along with them still pushing Shota Umino, and I'm simply not interested in now he's bald character.
Oh yeah. Well, what is going on with his character? Like,
So he
I'm
shaved his head.
interested.
So he shaved his head.
Right, I knew that.
And now he has white pants. And he throws a lariat every now and again. That's about it.
Is his character
a
new character yet? Like,
no.
Did he figure out that what he was doing wasn't working?
I think he hasn't figured out what he needs to do. He just has a new... It just feels like he got a glow up of sorts. He didn't really change anything about him.
So my theory, and I think we discussed this, maybe not on the last one, but on a previous episode. My theory with Shooter is he was unsuccessful because he was taking too much advice instead of listening to who he truly feels like he is. And maybe he's still trying to find that. I don't know.
Well, whatever he's trying to find isn't working. He's got to keep searching.
Fair.
So if you were to watch one match from the entire New Japan Cup, I'd say it's Zack Sabre Jr. against David Finlay. That's my New Japan Cup final.
That sounds good.
That was the semifinal. Yeah. That's what got Finlay in there. The final was Finlay against Umino. As soon as I saw Umino in the final, I go, no matter what David Finlay could do to this guy, I'm not watching it, not interested. Yeah. So I skipped it. And I just waited for the result, and I go, I swear to God, I swear to Buddha, do all these things, Finlay must win. And if you would have asked me, like this time last year, I would have called you a crazy person.
Right. Oh, David Finlay winning the cup?
Right. Yeah. It's probably would have said it just like that. Oh my God, what's New Japan thinking? And now I'm like, oh, please, David Finlay, I need you to win. Yeah. Because he has upped his game tremendously. He's got this viciousness behind his matches, and he really brought it in the Zack match. I like that. Unfortunately, he's in the main storyline of the company with this whole War Dogs, Bullet Club, offshoot thing with Evil and his crew. No interest in those matches whatsoever, and that terrifies me for what's coming for Hiroki Goto, my man, who has the only thing I'm watching in New Japan actively is Hiroki Goto against the old guys. And I never thought I'd say that, but the way it's booked and the feeling you have watching it is actually endearing. Because normally I'd be like, I'm not interested in watching old people sluggishly try to have a match around the ring. This is working. I will admit when something's working, and even I'm into it. The Yuji Nagata Hiroki Goto match is must-watch television. You gotta watch that.
What?
One. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my New Japan Cup thoughts. I think Hiroki Goto should beat Finlay, but I think they're gonna have Finlay beat Goto and be the guy because of he's in the big storyline of the company.
Because that's what they wanted from him in the first place.
That's what they wanted. That's the direction it looks like it's going, and
that's okay.
I get it. It's just not something I'm going to be interested in, which is sad for me. All right.
Fair enough.
Let me get this WCW drop on the ready.
Do we have to?
I think this is going to be quick. I think it's going to be quick.
That's what she said.
Look, if you last 5 seconds and it feels good, does it still count?
Oy, 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 oy. All right, let's get it over with.
All right.
And that's what she said.
I got my wine. I'm ready. Oh, God. Could you imagine? It's like, all right, significant other. I got my bottle of wine. I'm just going to drink this. You do whatever you need to do. I know it's only going to last before I finish this glass. Know what I mean? No? Yeah, all right.
Actually, I do. It sounds pretty normal for my... No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you mean last Thursday? Oh, yeah, I remember. Same thing. Prosecco in hand. All right, come on.
do what you want. Tell me when it's over.
Oh boy, I could have used that watching this WCW pay-per-view. Holy shit, Great American Bash 2000. We've seen worse pay-per-views, but I think this is the dumbest. Okay?
This was that. Okay, full disclosure. So, I watched the show last week, and we were supposed to record that same day, and we had to postpone. And so I didn't take notes because I thought we were recording, and so I thought I was going to remember it. And so you might have to refresh my memory a bit. I just know it was fucking brutal.
Like, at best, it was boring at times.
Yeah.
And at worst, we had some of the dumbest booking things you can imagine.
Let's go.
All right. So this took place in Baltimore, June 11th, 2000. An abysmal buy rate of 0.19. Yeah, they were at 1.0s and 2.0s just a couple years ago at this point. 7,000 people. So remember, WCW around this time, 7,000 people. AEW just had a pay-per-view, and they got over 11,000 in California.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And dare I say, the matches were way better on AEW Revolution than Great American Bash 2000.
Well,
is that a hot take?
Considering we had some... No, of course not. How could that be a hot take? We just talked about the quality of match we saw.
It could be a hot take because we saw someone lit on fire on this pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we got to talk about that.
Okay, so let's get the boring matches out of the way first. You ready?
Okay.
This is no particular order of what we're going to talk about, because honestly, if they're boring, there's nothing to talk about. Okay?
Yep.
Cruiserweight title match. Lieutenant Loco defeats Disco Inferno in 454. There was an old guy that came down. I've never seen this guy before, and we've never missed a Nitro. But now this dude's there, and he has like a heart attack, and the girl with big boobs revives him because of breasts.
Yeah, that sums it up.
Right. Very horny commentary, by the way. Chronic defeats...
all night. No, horny commentary all night with Tony Schiavone doing his utmost best to just fucking reel everybody in.
Oh, between Mark Madden and Scott Hudson going, holy shit, look at the tits on that one. Oh, I hope she, blows me. And Tony Schiavone goes, yeah, that would be nice, I guess. So anyways, in the ring, oh, come on, Tony, you don't like tits? Yes, I like boobs like the next guy, but the match in the ring, Tony, look at the rack on this. And it was just all night.
Yeah. Folks, listeners, if you think GD is exaggerating, he is not. That is basically what the commentary is all night. And bless Tony Schiavone, man. He's doing his best, and he is so tired and so embarrassed. And
there's a reason why he wasn't in wrestling after WCW for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah,
I get
it's
it.
like, oh, I understand. Go to your baseball commentary. That's way better.
Yeah.
You do not need to be in wrestling anymore. Chronic defeats the Mamalukes in the best match on the show, 9 minutes, and it was boring as shit? Question mark? Do you agree?
It was terrible.
I mean, it wasn't good. It was boring for sure.
I don't even remember that match.
All right. So remember on Nitro
It felt long.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was
long.
definitely long. Yeah, you felt all of that.
Yeah.
Do you remember there was an ambulance match on Nitro like last week with Mike Awesome involved?
Okay, so we have seen 3 ambulance matches. The first one ended not in an ambulance.
Correct.
The second one ended in an ambulance. This one ended on a stretcher.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't get the ambulance to the ring, and so they had to put him on a stretcher and wheel him to the ambulance.
It's so dumb. Yeah, and they have like helpers to put him there and wheel him up. I'm like, oh god.
Okay, then just don't have the ambulance match. Call it something. Have a coffin match. Lock him in a cooler match. Something that's portable and you can put next to the ring. They literally had to put him on a stretcher and wheel him to the ambulance.
I mean, it's no different than a stretcher match that they've had on Nitro where they just like wheel him up the ramp and cross this like imaginary line and they go, that's over. I'm like, oh no.
I don't remember that.
So, anyways, do you remember the triple cage with Chris Kanyon being involved and him being thrown off the top and the whole thing was David Arquette turning and on DDP to win the title. Jeff Jarrett won it. Okay, you remember this? And Chris Kanyon was DDP's friend, supposedly.
Yeah.
Okay? And then he turns heel and does all these things. And then the Wall chokeslams him again off of something, and Chris Kanyon has a hurt neck. Okay, we remember all this, I guess, maybe. I understand if you don't. Then he comes back, and they're friends again, just because, right? This is very Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner, how they're always brothers. I'll forgive you, and then inevitably, one of them are going to turn on each other and be a bad guy randomly. So here I am, this entire match going, why is Chris Kanyon out here in the fucking head skeleton thing, just on the ramp next to the ambulance? And they start moseying up there finally, and I go, I see where this is going. But here's where it gets weird, okay?
Yeah.
Eric Bischoff's music hits, and it just continues to play. I'm like, okay. And DDP's like, oh, Bischoff, forget the match. This guy, because wife reasons. But his wife was already kicked out and gone by Miss Hancock. They have their stupid thing going on. All to set up Chris Kanyon standing from the chair, diamond cutter, and then DDP gets thrown on the gurney and the match is over. And here's commentary going, oh, swerve, swerve. I'm like, oh, I hate this so much. This is so dumb. When was Chris Kanyon friends with him again? It doesn't, like, this is all stupid to even talk about.
Yeah.
And there's Bischoff going, good television, right?
I don't know. Fucking miserable.
I can see why not many people paid $50 for this. Okay. If you don't have enough hardcore matches in your life, the next, like, 7 of them are all hardcore matches. Just interference,
quote, unquote.
Weapons,
yes.
Whatever. This one's called a boot camp match. It's Booker T as G.I. Bro. He comes... Pause. He comes down on the fucking zip line. And...
He did? I don't remember that.
And Russo is obsessed with the fucking zip line and people coming from the top of the ceiling because this piece of shit is trying to put something on WWF with Owen Hart's death. And there's a time coming where I remember where they're in St. Louis again and they bring someone down in the same arena on a zip line, and they even reference Owen. So he's doing this actively.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I want to be sick.
Oh, it makes you vomit. And anybody who takes Russo's opinion on anything seriously, remember shit like this. This was his mindset, and it's still his mindset.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
That is disgusting.
So Booker T defeats Sean Stasiak, 12 minutes. Boring. Boot camp match.
Yeah, terrible.
All right. Gets worse. Tables match. The franchise. That's what they're calling him now. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not Shane Douglas, the franchise.
Okay. Let's talk about the franchise as a name. Let's talk about a bunch of these names, actually. But the franchise is
they're upset. Like, Russo is obsessed with nicknames like this.
Well, here's the thing. If his name was... I forget who
his name was Shane Douglas, the franchise. Okay. Like, we know him as that.
So if his name was Shane the franchise Douglas, that's great. But just calling him the franchise is the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it immediately makes it cringe, and we're like, he's against the wall, which is also dumb. Yeah. But if he's just a heavy, that's okay.
He's just the wall. That one doesn't bother me.
Yeah, he's just the wall. He's like nothing. He's big. Whatever. They're still trying to get this fucker over. It's really funny.
Yeah, he's called the wall because he also has no personality. Like, that one doesn't bother me.
Yeah. So here I am watching this, and I shit you not, it's a best 2 out of 3. No, it's a 3 falls tables match. Not best 2 out of 3. It's a 3 falls, because first I see the franchise go through like 2 tables in a row, and Tony Schiavone in commentary is going, well, he went through 1 table. He went through 2 tables, and he pauses, and then it was either Mark Madden or the other piece of shit. He turns to him and goes, oh, we've got clarity. It's 3 tables the guy must go through. And I'm just slapping my head going, oh my God.
Yes. Now, okay, so it sounds terrible that way. But when you get to the finish,
it's also
almost clever. Almost clever. No, it's almost clever.
Well, okay. The idea could work if you could execute it in any good fashion.
If it was executed properly. That's what I'm saying. Almost clever. Let's get to the end.
So, anyways, Shane Douglas has gone through 2 tables. The crowd is baffled. They don't know what's going on. As well am I, until the commentary went, oh, it's 3 fall table match. Right. And they just mosey on to a ladder at the ramp, where there just so happens to also be 3 tables stacked. And the wall is on one side. Oh,
okay, hang on, listeners. They're not, it's not a stack of 3 tables. All of them are open, like, it's like open table on top of table. It's like a house of cards of tables. 3 tables on top of each other.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous.
Yeah. It looks silly.
If you want this to work,
where it's going now.
Yeah,
right?
If you want this to work, guys go through no tables. Then eventually they get to the ladder spot. They have to actually like mosey there in an interesting way and unique way. You can't just walk towards it saying, "Oh, it's my spot now."
Sure.
And you got to have tables on both fucking sides of the ladder, not one side.
Well. Yeah.
So the franchise gets these rubber knucks out and pokes the wall in the face, and the wall goes through 2 tables, and they go, and even Tony Schiavone goes, did he go through the 3rd? I think it still counts, Tony.
It's three.
Yeah.
They counted it as all 3.
My God.
Could have been okay if it had worked.
Yeah.
Also, the wall, I mean, he went simultaneously. He went too far or not far enough. I felt like the ladder was too far from the tables for him to take the bump safely. So that all said, the fact that he walked away from it is actually pretty outstanding.
United States title, Scott Steiner, our hero, my new favorite character, but they don't let him talk
Whose
enough.
hero?
My hero.
Okay.
Scott Steiner?
He's an hour. I'm like,
he's not your hero?
He doesn't do anything for me.
What about, well, I mean, with Sid out injured right now, he's all we got to turn to.
No, I can't with the ladies and the misogyny and I can't. It's disgusting.
Well, okay, here's my defense of Scott Steiner and the ladies and the misogyny. All right?
You're going to defend misogyny now.
I'm going to defend misogyny. The whole guy's persona and character is, look at my hot hoochies, I fuck them. Awesome, right? And everyone's like, yeah, I guess, sure, Scott Steiner, look at him.
your defense of this on previous episodes has been, well, the women seem to enjoy it.
Well, I mean, they look, their whole thing is like, yes, I enjoy being Scott Steiner's hoochies. Scott Steiner does indeed bring it.
It's called Stockholm Syndrome.
No. He takes them home, like he says it in all his promos. Holla if you hear me. Come on.
Gross. No, I cannot defend this man or his character. And I will not have you defend it either.
All right, what if I also told you I defended this when I was, 11 at this time?
You were not 11 in 2000.
I was 12.
Oh, maybe you were.
I was 12.
Yeah.
Well,
like, wait a minute.
Wait, June? No, I was 12. I was 12 at this time.
I was 15, 16.
So, I guarantee you, all the 11 to 18-year-old boys were all about Scott Steiner at this time. Especially in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, no, that I believe. I'm just saying, in 2025, you cannot defend it. You cannot. There is no defense. You can say how you felt at the time, but you cannot defend it now.
Well, I tried. So he has a 2-on-1 handicap asylum match, which is the birdcage thing that we've already seen.
Oh, yeah. Wait, we saw this before? Because I didn't remember it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we just saw it on Nitro.
Oh.
Yeah. So they jump Scott Steiner before the match, they lower the cage, and then Scott Steiner beats them both up in 3 minutes. It was fucking stupid.
Sure was.
Yeah. Now, we've watched all these Nitros. This is the point in the pay-per-view where I go, I'm watching their little match previews that they do, which is very appreciative because apparently on Thunder, we missed like 4 weeks of TV. Both Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair have retirement matches on the line.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. And I guess Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan also, this is also a title shot match. So Hulk Hogan's putting his retirement on the line for a title shot while Billy Kidman may get a title shot. And they're talking about Hulk Hogan's career's going to end and all this. Bischoff's in the back going, oh yeah, I got a thing. He's talking about Goldberg half the night. Doesn't make any sense. Monster Truck this and that. Hogan's out as Hollywood now, which is, I guess, good. But the crowd doesn't buy it at all. Because it's just weird. It's like, no, you were the fucking heel of this company with that character for years. And now you're just like, I'm cool, brother. Dumb. Horace Hogan's the special referee. God knows why. He calls it down the middle. They have a match. Hulk Hogan wins. What the fuck?
I have nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this accomplished at all. But we're getting Hulk Hogan against the world champion at Bash at the Beach 2000. Very famous and notorious pay-per-view. Ricky, have you seen it or know what's coming?
Does it look anything like the last Bash at the Beach? I don't know what I know about this. I don't know. I don't think I do. Don't tell me anything. I'm going to go blind. Don't tell me anything. I'm not going to look anything up. I prefer to be disappointed in real time.
Oh.
That's what she said.
More wine.
More wine.
Oh my god. I can't wait for you to see that and the Nitro that's afterwards. It's incredible. Very memorable. All right. Ric Flair's career is also on the line against David Flair with Vince Russo, because Vince Russo's mission since coming to this company is to retire Ric Flair in kayfabe and reality.
Right.
They had a really bad match. Vince Russo was involved. The entire Flair family's out there, including Charlotte and the much better sister that we never see.
The one that's married to Conrad.
Right. Right? Yes, that's true, right? Still?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's got to be, if there's only 2 daughters, it's got to be the one that's married to Conrad.
Yeah, the only one that's led like any sort of normal. I guess David Flair, after Stupid Wrestling, he leads a normal life. I think he's a watchtower guard in like Wyoming or something.
What?
Yeah, and like he's in forestry. Yeah.
Why did he leave wrestling?
Do you blame him?
I mean, fair.
Why did he leave wrestling? Look what he does here. He's no good at it. He's much better at watching trees.
Okay, but he wrestles in jeans. What if he had real gear? If he had gear and a teacher, maybe he wouldn't suck at it.
No, he's Ric Flair's son. He has the best teacher in how to be a pro wrestler. Well, maybe Ric Flair's a shitty teacher. That I believe, actually.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Anyways, they have a shitty match. A lot of interference. Vince Russo's involved. I mean, we just saw this fucking trio in a cage match have an abysmal match. This was no different. And then Vince Russo goes, I will retire you on Nitro, like they didn't just do this now. Very strange.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, question. Human Torch match. I was looking forward to this so much. I actually remember this as a child. Okay. My friend recorded this pay-per-view. And I went over to his house like the following weekend because he's talking about it all week. Okay? He's like, you gotta see this bullshit. And all he was talking about was the Human Torch match. And he was so mad about it. And I go, oh, that was against Sting and Fake Sting, right? Because I was 12.
Okay. So, Sting and Vampiro being Fake Sting. Okay.
Right.
Here was my thought going into this match. The first thought was, there's no way they actually light someone on fire. My second thought was, this is WCW.
They will absolutely
they might actually do this, but it will probably be a stunt double. And how are they going to pull it off? And here's how they pull it off.
You know, I gotta say, when I was a kid, I thought this match was weird. Okay?
Okay.
Because
as a kid, did you when you first watched it as a kid, did you realize it was a double?
No, I did not. I thought it was actually Sting lit on fire.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So it's clearly done like well enough.
It is. Production value wise, they actually did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I was like watching this as an adult. I go, this isn't as weird and bad as I remember, or at least like now in the zeitgeist think it was. Yeah. I'm like, okay, Sting comes down and he says the torch is up here, and my adult mind goes, why does it have to be that torch that you light him on fire? And why does Sting have control over it at the start? Wouldn't the referee or the pyrotechnic guy or someone have control over this? It's the literal match stipulation. So the adult brain is already going, this is stupid. So Sting puts it up there, and Vampiro's like, oh my god, he put it up there. And then Sting propels down with the zip line, and they brawl, and they brawl, and they brawl, and they eventually, because the purpose of the Human Torch match is to light him on fire with that specific torch, they have to climb the scaffolding. That's the objective. So unlike the tables match, this made sense. Sting says, we gotta go up top, brother. We're going up top.
Yeah.
And then Vampiro does some dirty shit.
Yep.
Lights him on fire and he wins. And I'm like, oh. Weirdly not the worst thing I've ever seen.
It really wasn't... Knowing that it had to end with somebody being on fire, knowing Sting was not going to light himself on fire, I think they did a pretty good job, like I said, production value-wise. So it was far enough away from the audience to obscure, and dark enough to obscure the fact. Yeah. So I do understand that if I had been in the audience, so a lot of it in the leading up to the switch was very dark. But they did some like strobe effects and other things, so you could kind of see that there were people up there and they were doing something.
Okay, yeah. The strobing was a huge miss.
Yeah, but if I had been in the arena, I probably would have been disappointed because, like I always say with AEW, when they start matches that aren't in the ring or they have stuff going on backstage or in the concession area, I'm like, well, I paid to watch a show in the arena, and I'm pissed that I can't see the action. Aside from that, they did. It might have been the best executed match on the card.
That was one of my takes going into this. This wasn't abysmal. I don't think it's the worst thing on the show. Cage match kind of says it is, but
it's not though. It's not.
The strobe lighting effects and the lightning, like that's when we got overproduced with it all. But everything else they did, I thought was very convincing. I thought it was weirdly okay, and Sting was lit on fire. There you go. Now, we haven't gotten to Flaming Sword yet, or have we? Have we done that yet?
I haven't seen a Flaming Sword.
Was that the graveyard match? At one point, there's a graveyard match with a Flaming Sword. Do they do that twice? They might do that twice. Oh boy.
I have not.
Terrible WCW is mixing up in my head again. Bad things going on there.
It's all bad.
All right.
It's all bad.
So Bischoff all night been telling us he's got a backup plan and he's worried about Goldberg. Blah, blah, blah. Russo involved as well. WCW World Title match, Jeff Jarrett, champion, defending against Kevin Nash. All big sexy, all 7 feet of him. 16 minutes this went. Oh my God, boring. And they start this fucking thing off as dumb as possible with the Cat's music hitting. And the Cat brings out a parade of dorks.
Oh, sorry. You said the Cat's music, and my brain went straight to Interlade Weber.
Oh.
I didn't. It took me 30 seconds to realize you meant Ernest the Cat Miller.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I was like, wait, when were they singing Memories in the middle of WCW? Yeah. So I don't know where Ernest the Cat Miller came from, by the way. He just showed up like last week on WCW. I didn't know who he was before that.
Oh, yeah, he's Karate Guy. He was injured for a long time. 3-time karate champion. He's a great talker, very funny. He's going to have a much larger role going forward in this company, unfortunately.
He was supposed to be on the most recent cruise and had to pull out either due to health stuff or scheduling or whatever.
That's a bummer.
One of my friends was like really disappointed. She's been watching since, childhood. And I was like, oh, that, I'm sad you're disappointed, but I didn't know who he was. So
the Cat, the Cat and his wrestling persona and what he does is like a cult favorite. And even like on my rewatch, I'm like, I fucking love the Cat. He's so stupid.
Yeah,
he's great. He knows his role and he sticks to it.
I'm learning. Yeah, I'm learning for sure.
So he gives the Filthy Animals a bunch of roles. Conan gets, I don't know, ring duty or whatever. Rey Mysterio rings the bell. All these weird roles. And then everyone jumps Kevin Nash. They beat him up. It's a fucking handicap match for God knows how long.
Yeah, that's right. I remember. Yeah,
he gets no help forever. Then they come out one at a time. We've seen this a million times, whether it's WCW, WWE. You got to hit the music, the next guy comes out. Hit the music, next guy comes out. And then finally and the match is dreadfully boring on top of it all.
Yeah.
Referees getting taken out.
Whatever action happened was,
Yeah, referees getting taken out. Guitar hits here. Goldberg finally shows up. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
And it's Jarrett and Nash next to each other. There's Goldberg in the corner. He's going to spear. He even has cleaned house before. He looks at Nash. Looks at Jarrett. Looks like he's going to run, and then looks at Nash again. Nash is going, get him, get him. Bear in mind on Nitro, Goldberg had saved Kevin Nash, and it's a swerve, brother. Goldberg spears Kevin Nash. Now, they could have done this. They could have done this very interesting. Okay? They could have gone down the route that Goldberg will forever hate Kevin Nash. Ruin the streak, the whole deal, right?
Yeah.
They're going to do none of that.
Yeah.
They're going to try to play that into his heel character. Yes, Goldberg, been out forever.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see him. Everybody's chanting his name. He turns heel because Swerve Bro. He's hugging Bischoff and Russo. And this is such a dumb move. Like, it's so bad. Nobody wants to see it. No one's interested in it.
Why would you turn this, like, returning fucking super popular babyface? Like, it
makes no sense. And you see it in real time, and or you see it upon the rewatch in chronological order. You just further realize how dumb this is. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, I've made similar things with, like, in recent memory of Saya Kamatani turning heel in Stardom, and my argument there was, you don't get this kind of babyface to be top of your promotion very often. I think it's a mistake. Now, could it be something interesting and new and maybe spark something? Yeah, I don't ever doubt that. The difference between that and Goldberg is fucking top of the industry. Okay?
Yeah.
Not one person wants him to turn heel. They want him to wreck shop whoever it is. Just go out there and spear some bastards, right?
Yep.
No, he's gonna turn heel with Russo and Bischoff. Woohoo!
Yeah, why you squander that? I have no idea.
So it's Hogan Jarrett at the pay-per-view. Sting's been lit on fire.
Yep.
And Goldberg's heel.
That's it.
What's there not to like? Oh boy.
This was really terrible.
So we get the follow-up Nitro. We get we get to preview Wrestle Dynasty next time, because we should have a good chunk of the card ready.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I believe we'll have Sakura Genesis to talk about from New Japan.
Okay. I will pencil that in.
All right.
Much. I'm actually looking forward to that. I didn't mean to sound blasé about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, the wine's not gone, but I'm definitely done drinking. I got to get up early in the morning. Ricky, this was fun.
Okay. See ya.
Later.